To the Hill now, where House Republicans are moving forward with a plan to significantly cut funding to the IRS. After months of scandal and hearings on wasteful spending within the agency, lawmakers want to slash $3 billion from the IRS budget. That would be a quarter of their entire budget. But Democrats say that they think this is just about politics. They say, quote, Republicans are ready to use any devices to score points. What they're trying to do is use the IRS. They've just become a political plaything for Republicans. Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman Andrew Crenshaw, who crafted the IRS budget cut. He's the chairman of the Subcommittee on Financial Services and General Government, also on the House Appropriations Committee. Sir, welcome. Good to have you here today.
Great to be here.
This is obviously an area that the public is I would say the polls show they're very supportive of reining in the IRS. It's not anybody's favorite agency, I think is fair to say. And given what we've seen with the scanning for conservative groups and in some cases some progressive groups as well as the line dancing and the overspending at these conventions, I think that there would be broad support to cut their budget somewhat. Are you going too far here, as the Democrats say, and sort of overreaching?
No, I don't think we're going too far at all, because when you look at it, it's very clear that the IRS has betrayed the trust of the American people. You just mentioned it. It's not only targeting groups to single them out and bully them and harass them, not only wasting taxpayers' dollars to have these lavish conferences all around the country, not only producing these line dancing videos and then paying bonuses when most Americans don't even have a job. So we're trying to get their attention and to say, listen, unless you spend the money you have more correctly, unless you clean up your act, you're not going to get any more money. Yeah. They actually asked for $1 billion more this year, Martha, $1 billion more. We said, you got to spend the money you have in the first place, and we're going to give you a cut, and we're going to put in place some safeguards to make sure this doesn't happen again. I mean, it's shocking when you look at a $12 billion budget, and the IRS is arguing that they need another $1 billion, that they would have the gall, I think a lot of folks would say, to ask for $1 billion more, given the wasteful spending that we've seen. They're saying, you know, we are so short-staffed, we can barely manage what we have to do on our workload, and I think that's tough for people to swallow when they see this kind of expenditure going on. Let me tell you one thing. They were asking for more money for their enforcement division, and yet they were taking money out of the enforcement funds and putting on these lavish conferences. One conference cost $4 million all by itself. They paid probably $250 million in bonuses over the last several years, and of course they say we need more money. We say you need to clean up your act. You need to spend the money you have. We're going to hold you accountable, and that's what we're trying to do. Well,
I guess can you is the question that a lot of viewers might ask, because what they see is House Republicans repeatedly outraged about overspending and all over the place in Washington, and then it gets to the Senate and nothing happens, nothing ever changes, and everybody's budget goes up in the end, nobody gets fired, and lowest learners still getting paid for the summer.
Well, we're going to do everything we can. That's why, you know, they still have $9 billion. They talk about a $3 billion cut. They still got $9 billion. And one of the things we say, not only do we cut your budget, but we put some restriction in there. We say no more bonuses unless you sit down and justify those things. No more videos and no more conferences.
But do you have Democratic support for those ideas?
Well, right now we're going to have to pass this through the House with a Republican majority. Yeah. And then we're going to sit down and go to the conference. But here, let me tell you one thing. They wanted $440 million of new money to implement Obamacare. And one of the things we say in our bill is that you can't use any money to implement the individual mandate. In other words, people don't trust the IRS. They don't trust them with their taxes, and they sure don't trust them with their health care, and yet they want $440 million more to implement the Obamacare.
Yeah, that's a whole other part of this. We'll see how it goes for you, and thank you very much for talking with us today. We'll be watching.
Thank you, Martha.